Good morning, students. I'm Teacher Jamaica and I will be your teacher again for today's lesson. So, bago tayo mag-start sa ating discussion, let's have a game muna. Gaya ng last meeting, magpapakita ako ng picture, then huhulaan nyo kung kaninong art siya. Yan, so let's start. That's right, it is a Roman art. Second picture. Correct. It is a Chinese art. Third picture. Tama, it is a Japanese art. Okay, let's proceed to our discussion. So last meeting, tinakal natin yung about sa cave paintings, ancient Egyptian art, and Greek art. Ngayon naman, ang pag-aaralan natin ay Roman art, Chinese paintings, and Japanese paintings. So sa Roman art muna tayo. The prehistoric Roman art encompasses two periods, the Etruscan period and the Roman period. Sa Etruscan, the subject matter of their paintings was ancestors' worship, catacombs, and sarcophagi. In the Roman period, art was characterized by commemorative statue, sarcophagi, frescoes, and design with vines. Catacombs is a underground cemetery consisting of a subterranean gallery, while sarcophagi is a stone coffin typically adorned with sculpture and inscription. Art in this period served the cult of ancestors and defied emperors. Roman art include architecture, painting, sculpture, and mosaic work. Luxury objects and metalwork, gem engraving, ivory carvings, and glass are sometimes considered in modern terms to be minor forms of Roman art, although this would not necessarily have been the case for contemporaries. Sculpture was perhaps considered to be the highest form of art by Romans, but figurative painting was also very highly regarded. Ancient Roman pottery was not a luxury product, but a vast production of fine wares. In Terra Sigillata were decorated with reliefs that reflected the latest taste and provided a large group in society with stylish objects at what was evidently an unaffordable price. Roman coins were an important means of propaganda and have survived in enormous numbers. Etruscan art renowned for its vitality and vivid coloring, while Roman art was used to illustrate wealth. So our next topic is Chinese paintings, the oldest artistic tradition in the world. The traditional painting involves essentially the same techniques as calligraphy and is done with a brush dipped in black ink or colored pigments. Oils are not used. As with calligraphy, the most popular materials on which paintings are made of paper and silk. The finished work can be mounted on scrolls, such as hanging scrolls or hand scrolls. Traditional painting can also be done on album sheets, walls, lacquerware, folding screens, and other media. There are two techniques in Chinese paintings. The first one is gongbi, which means meticulous, and the other one is ink and wash painting. So gongbi uses highly detailed brush strokes that delimits details very precisely. It is often highly colored and usually depicts figural or narrative subjects. Gongbi, often practiced by artists working for royal courts or independent workshops. Ink and wash painting, in Chinese, shumo, means water and ink, also loosely termed watercolor or brush painting, and also known as literati as it was one of the four arts of the Chinese scholar official Churi. This was an art practiced by gentlemen, a distinction to be made in writings on art from the Song dynasty. though in fact the careers of leading exponents could benefit considerably. This style is also known Shei or freehand style. Shei style is marked by exaggerated forms, while Gongbi style is characterized by close attention detail and fine brushwork. The highest form of Chinese painting is the landscape painting and is still generally used today. The time from the Five Dynasties period to the Northern Song period is known as the Great Age of Chinese landscape. In the north, artists such as Jing Hao, Li Cheng, Fan Quan, and Guzi painted pictures of towering mountains, using strong black lines, ink wash, and sharp dotted brush strokes to suggest rough stone. In the south, Dong Yuan, Juran, and other artists painted the rolling hills and rivers of their native countryside in peaceful scenes done with softer, rough brushwork. These two kinds of scene and techniques became the classical styles of Chinese landscape painting. Our next topic is Japanese painting. The Japanese painting encompasses a wide variety of genres and styles. The long history of Japanese painting exhibits synthesis. Japanese painting, also known as Kaiga or Gado, is one of the oldest and most highly refined Japanese visual arts. As with the history of Japanese arts in general, the long history of Japanese painting exhibits synthesis and competition between native Japanese aesthetics and the adoption of imported ideas. Mainly from Chinese painting, which was especially influential at a number of points, significant Western influence only comes from the later 16th century onwards, beginning at the same time as Japanese art was influencing that of the West. Areas of subject matter where Chinese influence has been repeatedly significant include Buddhist religious painting, ink wash painting of landscapes in the Chinese literati painting tradition, calligraphy of ideographs, and the painting of animals and plants, especially birds and flowers. However, distinctively Japanese traditions have developed in all these fields. The subject matter that is widely regarded as most characteristics of Japanese painting and later printmaking is the depiction of scenes from everyday life and narrative scenes that are often crowded with figures and details. This tradition no doubt began in the early medieval period under Chinese influence that is now beyond tracing except in the most general terms. But from the period of the earliest surviving works had developed into a specifically Japanese tradition that lasted until the modern period. In Japan, there were 158 works or set of works in painting listed in the official list of national treasures. These works were done in the 8th to the 9th century that includes a number of Chinese paintings which have long been in Japan. These painting works represent peaks of achievement or very rare survival from the early period in Japan.